having me. I want to thank all you for taking the time to be here. This is actually my second time in 3 years, I think, working with Pickering. I worked with Coach Bay's team a few years ago. So I have really good experiences with Pickering. Used to also be an education assistant at St. Mary's Catholic Secondary School. So I know the area very, very well. So I'm happy to be on with all of you. I'm just going to share my screen and I'll talk through and Coach, like you said, if you see something and there's a question, just let me know and I'll jump on that.
I will do, Marco. No problem.
Okay, now I don't know if you guys can see my screen. Can you see my screen? Oh wait, here we go. No, it's just taking a couple of seconds here to connect.
Okay, no problem.
Apologize here. You have Desi Humphrey at your club?
No, he's moved. Yeah, Imran's with us, but Desi's moved on.
I used to coach Desi and Imran. Yeah, go
Imran's
way back.
Here, but Desi's moved. Yeah.
Okay, here we go. All right, we should be. Just let me know if you can see the screen.
Not yet.
Not yet. Wow.
Has it loaded on your side?
It's loading on my side.
Okay. All right. So, Coach Marco, you want to tell them where the school's located? Where Lakehead University is located?
Sure. Let's start it off. I'm gonna probably show a couple slides on it anyhow, but what you're gonna see about our school is we're really different than most, if not every other school that you're gonna really run into. Okay, for several different reasons. Number one, we're a much smaller campus. We're not like
I think we lost Coach Marco.
So we've grown over the last few years. Because there was no recruiting, basically to see who would walk in, and things weren't working out that way. So we're happy that we're healthy, back on track, and we're looking for quality kids. But I really, wow, I can't believe this internet is taking so long tonight. That's crazy.
So yours, it's just showing on the screen now.
Okay. Yeah, this is abnormal. I don't understand.
What I'll do is I'll ask the kids to turn off their video, and that won't take up too much on your end as well. So guys, why don't you turn off the videos for now?
It's also the first time I'm using this WebEx.
No, it's yeah. No, a lot of people have the same scenario.
It looks like we're getting better here.
Okay.
So what else can I tell you? Our main campus is actually in Thunder Bay, but our Aurelia campus has the varsity soccer program. So they sort of had to divide sports between the two campuses. So we got a little bit lucky in that, we got the soccer close to the GTA. We do compete at the OCAA level for now, because you may or may not know, it does, it goes by student body and student population, and we're a very small campus and with a very small student body. So until we start to grow and develop, we will play in the OCAA against, smaller universities like UFT Mississauga and Brock and Laurier, some of the smaller universities. Okay. How does that look, Coach?
Looks better.
Okay, good. So let's hopefully we work and let's get started. So a little bit about myself. currently am working with the National Soccer Coaches Association of Canada. Um, Recently, as of this afternoon, I completed the National Youth License, which is brand new. So I think I'm the second class. The first class was a whole bunch of technical directors, I think, if I recall, Dave.
Yeah.
But today I actually handed in my very last assignment. I was also part of the very first group for the CSA National B program that they rolled out a few years ago. So excited to be sort of part of the launching of those first two, right? Always with the C license, but I throw in the NCCP senior because it's sort of, for those that know, right, Coach, that it shows my age. I've been around long enough to know that, this all started once with the National Coaching Certification Program. But a little bit of a goalkeeper background. That's how I started in. That's how I played in the game. So, if there's a goalkeeper in the crowd, if you do come to my school, you're going to be well looked after. I graduated from Durham College, sports administration. I knew sort of at a young age. I guess I can tell the story because we got a little bit of time here. I actually went into my guidance counselor when I was 16, 17 years old and told them that I wanted to become a soccer coach as a profession. Back in the late 80s, no word of a lie, my guidance counselor actually laughed at me. And she says, just go off to Sheridan College and take business administration because that was the in thing back then, I guess. So hated it, couldn't stand it, left, went back and spoke to my coach at Sheridan and told me that if I wanted a job in the athletic department, that Durham College offered a program. So I drove over to Durham College, registered, and really the rest is history. I guess for the kids in the crowd, the moral of this story is I'm now a full-time soccer coach. Okay. I did struggle going through. Coach will I guess second this. I did my 20 years of volunteer work, but you chip away at your goals and you chip away at your dreams, and eventually you'll get there, guaranteed. And I just want you to all understand that if you've got a goal and you got a dream, you got to go for it. And don't let anyone sway you. Don't worry how long it takes. But my goal in life was I wanted to get paid as a career to be a soccer coach, professional, not a professional team, but it's my career. I'm also lucky that I get to work at a university. There's very few of those around. So follow your dreams because if you don't get there, you'll probably end up landing a bigger dream than what you would have imagined, to be honest with you. Okay. I was laughed at, but I stuck to my guns and I'm living a charmed life, right? I mean, I'm not rich, but but what else could I do? So yeah, part of it is, I used to, up until this thing, COVID, if you guys heard about it, there's this flu going on out there. I had a pretty good little soccer academy going on for 10 years, had 7 staff coaches, and it was really on its own. And so I was able to do that. Now, really, it's more private and semi-private because, of the nature of what's going on out there. Lucky enough to win an Ontario Cup back in 2001 in Woodbridge, way back in 2001. Go figure. But again, this goes back to the dreams, right? I had gotten into coaching because really I wanted to win an Ontario Cup. And playing, growing up in the game, I never had the opportunity to win one. I wanted to be a provincial champion. So that's why I got into coaching. It was the best way for me to continue the competitive edge and continue going for it, right? And I was lucky enough to win my first one back all the way back in 2001. So, again, it goes back to those dreams and those goals, right? I currently coach in Woodbridge still, not for the last 30 years, trust me. I've been in and out of different clubs, Vaughan, Kleinberg, Bolton, Vaughan twice, Woodbridge 3 times, but I'm back there now. I work with the OPDL program as well as the League One women's program. So I'm living a charmed life. Follow your dreams. In saying that, let's talk about you, right? I mean, this is why I'm here. I'd rather not talk about me. I'd rather talk about you. And the way I start off these presentations is taking a look at you as a student, as a person, and several different possibilities that lie in front of you going forward. Um, there's more than one option. There's plenty of options out there. And once you start to see the options that are out there, you can really start to see which fits you best. Because ultimately, if you put yourself in the right situation, with the right environment around you, doesn't matter where it is, you're going to succeed. You'll be better at it. Okay. Obviously, we have the CC, the Canadian College Athletic Association, and youth sports. I mean, that we live in Canada. These are our main two, right? If you're going to smaller university or colleges, you're on the CCAA side, and then most of, if not the biggest universities, are on the U side. Okay, so we have those options: college as well as university in Canada. Now, when we look at NCAA, everyone talks, NCAA is there's this lure to going to the States to play football or to play sports, period. Um, Number one, I also find that it's lessening over time. I don't know, Dave, if you can even second that, but as time has gone on, I see that there's more kids that are actually choosing to stay in Canada to play football because the opportunities are starting to even themselves out. Um, but nonetheless, if you go NCAA, there's different routes you can go, right? There's junior college, right? So you have your first division NCAA, but you can also go to junior college, and this could be a springboard into getting into a Division One or a Division Two school in NCAA. So there's always an option to start off at an NCAA or an NC Junior College AA level. Okay. We also have for the smaller schools, the NAIA, right? I mean, this would be like a Lakehead University would be in the NAIA. So, often enough we think of NCAA as, the UCLAs of the world, and I don't know what the biggest schools are, Notre Dame's and the Dukes, and the big institutions. But there's a lot of smaller institutions that may fit for you as well. So I guess the moral of these stories is, some kids, for some, smaller is better. For some, bigger is better. But it's just getting to know the land and knowing where to look for the information. Okay. So if you do want to go to the States and you do want to go to a smaller university, now you have the information in front of you that says, maybe I got to look at NAIA. Maybe you want to go to Duke, right? So you're definitely looking at NCAA, right? And maybe there's those that are unsure even about what maybe they want to do, or maybe where they want to go to school, and they need that year of a springboard to really propel them to where they want to be. Okay. In Canada, like and I'm sure you've been around it, we have League One. So when we do come back from universities, or while we're in universities in Canada, you still have opportunities to play. So hypothetically speaking, you might be able to stay in Canada and have a little bit of both. Okay. We also have here, because I'm a women's coach, but there's the National Women's Soccer League. So, for example, there's in Canada the CPL, also a professional route. So we have semi-pro as well as professional in Canada, right? So a lot of different avenues for you to look at when it comes to what I want to do post-secondary. Okay, very big world out there. Personally, I think the best way to start is, listen, do I want big or small? Does the school offer what I want to take? And then we start to narrow it down to where you might like to go. Okay. Okay. I like to talk about the recruitment process and what coaches look at. Okay. Now, I'm different than most. And I have a certain order that I put things in. But ultimately, this is not going to be the type of conversation where it's like, okay, when you email somebody, make sure you want to keep your options open. Hi, coach, I'm interested in your school. Here's my video. Hopefully, I can talk to you soon. Those are cliche. And as university coaches, we start to see through that. And it starts to give us an indication of your true interest. Okay. So I'm going to tell you what I look at and what I expect from the people that do come to our school. Okay. And I said people and school, not players and program. Because truthfully, this is about your education. And what you're going to see is the prestige in coming to my school is actually through the education and not the football. But what do we look at? First of all, I look at the individual 100%. It's the one thing I care about the most, really, because I need to ensure that that individual can now mix in with the other individuals on our team, number one, in their faculty, number two, as well as the school campus, because it's a small campus, right? So you're a big fish in a small pond. So, I mean, the individuals is very important. And you're going to find that our whole school really takes this approach when we look at people. So we want it to be personable. I like to have great conversations with kids. It tells me that, you know, they're engaging, they're well spoken. It's beautiful to be able to have a really good conversation. And I mean a conversation, not question answer, or, you know, to be able to engage. We look at kids that are accountable, leaders for sure, because just the nature of our university and our academic programming. I mean, it's tailor made for people like that. But we're looking for leaders, and I think every coach is going to tell you they're looking for leaders. But in our school, with the opportunity that we have in terms of, you know, being the new kid on the block and really bringing exposure, and the opportunity you may have on actually having an impact on the history of a university, we need leaders, right? We need leaders for the community. Trustworthy and dependable, hardworking kids, good core values, right? This is very important to me. Extremely, extremely important. The core values, what makes a person up on the inside, how I can, as a coach, can connect with that player, that person on a different level is extremely important, because it's not all about football, right? It's about knowing and understanding what you're going through, because we know you well enough. We understand your values and where you're coming from. So this is extremely important to me. In most cases, this really outweighs the skill. Okay. And what I mean by that is, once you're at a certain level, let's say U17 OPDL, for the most part, all the players are right at the same level. And really it comes down to coach selection on what they need and what they're looking for in their program. But all the players are really at the same level. But what are they like as people is what's important to me, because that's really the long-term vision. Too easy for me to say, ooh, that person scores goals, let me plug them into my team. We want people, good values. Now, social media, let me tell you this about social media. I don't check social media. I don't personally, because I think social media is a different side of a person that you're not going to normally see in a professional environment. So I understand that, but understand that other coaches don't see it that way. So please, I urge you to be very careful on the social media. And I'm one to talk because I'm not that careful on it, but because I understand that there's a difference between the people, you know, and when you're in a social setting as opposed to a professional setting. But other coaches may hold that stuff against you, and they may turn around and say, oh, you know, they'll judge you as a person. So I would be very careful with those Snapchats and the TikToks and the Facegrams and the Twitter boxes and stuff like that, right? So because they do check, and you're going to find that employers in the future, they'll check too. So keep that in mind, please. Secondly, I look at the student. Why school second? People always say, why school second? Because it's easy. School is easy, right? What's your grades? Can you get in? I think we all understand the certain bar and standard we need to meet. So obviously, yeah, I look at the student, but it's a university. Can you get in? Right? If you can't get into my university, then it doesn't really mean anything. I often put the individual before the student, because right now you're in grade 12 and maybe you have to study religion and geography and French and all these compulsories that you hate. You can't stand them. Um, and you get an X amount of grade, right? Now you get into university and you're focused on your true passion. You're actually going to do better in university than what you would have done in high school. I'm case in point because you put me in a French room and then you got math and science and biology. Oh my goodness, my head explodes. But now put me in a situation where I'm studying sports and history, sport history, and oh, I'm knocking home runs every day. That goes back to the individual. And that's why I put the individual first. What makes you tick inside? What's your passions? How passionate of a person are you, right? But yes, I need to know your academic interest because maybe at our school, we don't have what you want. You want kinesiology, you got to go to Thunder Bay. So it's a no-go for us. Grade average is extremely important, especially your English. Now, for us, we're an academic school. And like I said before, for us, it's about the academics. You're going to see a quality education you're going to get at Lakehead. But the grade average is important to us, only because our scholarship program is one of the best, top two in Ontario, top three in Canada. So those high achievers come in, they get a pretty good ride. Students need to be disciplined, organized, time management. You've heard it all, right? Players cannot come to me and say, "Oh, I can't come to practice because I have an exam tomorrow." No, it doesn't work that way. It does not work that way. If I've recruited you to play striker and you got to miss my practices because you have an exam, I'm probably recruiting another striker to replace you. You got to remember, if you're being recruited, you're getting recruited to replace somebody else. The following year, don't fall into a little pattern where now maybe your coach is going out to try and recruit somebody to replace you. Okay. Just because you've been recruited for year one doesn't mean we're there for 4 or 5 years. And I'm sure coach will second that because with his experience, he's seen it all. Extracurriculars, I don't know. For some coaches, it's important. For me, I don't know. For me, I like to know it's more about the person. So it's not do you do them, it's what do you do? Do you save the dolphins? Do you read to children? Do you know? It gives me a little bit more of an insight on the type of person you are. Soup kitchens, whatever. I don't know, right? Lastly, and I mean this sincerely, it's the athlete. Because this here, listen, if I'm coaching League One, the student is not going to matter. It's about the athlete becomes a lot bigger, and the individual, by this point, they're already a quality enough individual because they're at a highest level. So, but athlete for me comes last. And I just said it, you're at a certain level where you're going to be on par with most of the players you're playing on the pitch at U17. Right? So the skill set, a little bit different, a little bit more here, a little bit more there. I understand that at the end of the day, if I get the right individual who's the right student to come to my school, I'm going to get more out of that player. Right? We do want to look at videos and we do want to see as much information as possible on you. I can tell you right now, when I get emails that are 3 sentences long, I'm thinking about coming to your school. They're less effective than, "Hi, coach, I'm at this school. I play for this club. I'm interested in this. These are my grades. This is what I like to do. Here's my video." Wow. Wow. Right? That shows that they're interested. It shows they're detailed. It shows they're organized. So your initial approach is very important when it comes to even these videos and these CVs or resumes, okay? We do take a look at leagues and clubs a little bit, but I also understand that there's some clubs that can't be part of OPDL because of, they don't have facilities or they don't want to be. So we do look at regional teams as well, right? Clubs, strength of clubs, right? Pickering did okay. signing Coach Benning for sure. Coach David, helps the reputable side of it. Not that, it hurted you before, or hurt before, because I've worked with Pickering, but those types of things, right? Because as coaches, we know the good programs and we know the people behind the programs. And you got a great club in Pickering. You do. You always did. But some good things are happening, I think. Lastly, we look at the team, what type of team are they on? If you've won an Ontario Cup, if you've gone to a finals, or we do talk to coaches. I usually do this at the end. I'm not one that goes to the coach and says, you're going to see that in the video. I like this player. Can I talk to them? What do you think about it? I need this, right? I need this. What do you have? For me, if I go talk to a coach first, already the coach is giving me the first impression of the player, and I'd rather leave that up to the player. So for me, the coach comes last to see if what they say about the player that I like reinforces what I think about them. So if I've checked all these boxes with this player and then I go talk to the coach about the player, I've selected the player, so they really can't be biased about who they send to me. And they're going to tell me the truth because I'm the one controlling the conversation with regards to the information. So for me, coaches come last. I like to get to know the players first because I don't want anyone really swaying my mind on how I feel about that person. Not to mention, in the past, you reach out to a coach and he'll give you 3 players and one of them is always their kid. It's crazy, but natural, and I understand it and I respect it, to be honest with you, because I mean, they're your kids, right? So, but I'd rather stay away from that if I could. Any questions so far? Are we okay, Dave, on that side?
So far, so good.
Okay. Now, the one thing I do want you all to understand is when you're dealing with a coach, now that you have this information in front of you, ask yourself, is this coach looking at me as an athlete or as an individual? Some coaches are going to put the athlete before the individual. I'll be honest with you, right? For some of them, it's about wins and losses. For me, it's about wins and losses too, but I don't know what's written in other people's contracts, but you got to know this, right? And some people will be comfortable with it, right? I want to go in. I want to feel like I'm the best athlete in the face of this earth. And maybe the coach is going to make you feel like an athlete and you're good with that. But maybe you want to go in and you want to be respected as an individual before an athlete. How's this coach treating me, right? I'm going to be with them for the next 4 years, maybe. Is this going to work out, right? Do I know enough about this coach? Right. This is why my relationships last a long time with our players, because I want our players to get to know me. I want to be part of the reason why they come to the school, because they can work with me, because they like me. So in most cases, you're not going to have the opportunity to get to know these coaches because they're going to come in quick and leave and then maybe come back. Maybe, I don't know. But do they treat you like a person, right? Or an athlete? Because that'll give you an indication of what the 4 years is going to look like. So I'll give you an example. If they're going to treat you like an athlete and only an athlete, then, maybe you miss a penalty shot or maybe you get injured and discarded. Now, if they look at you as an individual, you miss a penalty shot, you're going to take the next one because I want you back on board. I want the confidence back. We believe in you. Now, if you miss that one, you're probably not going to get the third chance, but you get where I'm saying, right? You get injured, you're on our active roster. You're not going anywhere. You come and go as you please. When you're ready to go, you're back in. So it's these types of things you need to really, as kids, start to really notice who you're dealing with and how they treat you. Okay. Some tips. Okay? Research. Okay, I want you to understand something, kids. Coaches are usually adults, right? We tend to know a little bit more than what you do. So when I say to my players, what do you know about our campus? Sometimes I hear, well, not much. I haven't really done research. That does not go well over. That does not go over well. Sometimes I'll get the cliche stuff. Well, I know somebody who's at the school and they said it's a really nice school. There's some nice people there. Cliches, company lines, we see through them. If you're going to write me an email and I'm talking to you because you're so called interested in my school, I think you would have done some research. You would have gone online. You would have found out the size of the school, the location, the types of programs, what residence looks like, right? You're going to tell me, well, coach, how come I only see indoor on your website? And that's a beautiful conversation because yes, now we can talk about, okay, we're going outdoor, which we were supposed to this year, and I don't know if we're going to because of this COVID thing, but now I know that you researched. Transportation is massive too. You need to talk to your coaches. Residents, school, soccer, work, how are you going to get around? Most kids overlook asking the transportation question. Do I have to take buses? How many do I have to take? Is it an Uber? Can I ride my bike? Is there players that can carpool with me? So this becomes an issue because, big campuses, residents could be 2-3 kilometers away, 4 or 5. So transportation is important too, because if you don't have a vehicle, you may be looking for something smaller or more convenient. So that little one there often gets overlooked. Okay. But residents, and you can see I researched the town. I love it when kids turn around and say, oh my goodness, I love Aurelia because of this. They've done their research. Network with coaches. You know what? I'm impressed when kids take the first step. I'm impressed when a kid emails me first saying, I'm looking at your school. I'm going to use some examples that I've had in the past. My parents have gone from the school, or my older brother and sister have gone to the school, or my cousin, and I like the school. And I want to come. I want to play soccer. Early bird catches the worm. Okay, that person there moves up a few spots on the Christmas card list because they took the initiative. Okay. Um, Two important things: send, read, and reply quickly. You think or not, you're on a time limit. Because again, if I'm looking at you as a person, it now turns into a respect thing. I reached out to you. There's a law of reciprocation, which means you need to now reach out to me. Okay. I reach out to players January 1st every year. If I have somebody that emails me back March 3rd, I'm not going to be emailing. I'm not setting up. I'm on my way. Okay. So please, when you're corresponding with these people, follow through in a timely fashion, or else they're going to tune you out. Okay. Last thing, which I do this for all of our players. In fact, our recruits, our 2003s, are going through this right now. You need to speak to an academic recruitment office. Your soccer coach does not know diddly squat about the academics. Do not get lured in by the coach and forget about the academics. So, coach, can you please set me up with somebody in the academic recruitment office so that they can become my guidance counselor per se? I have a contact to talk about admissions, scholarship, course loads, requirements, schedules. It's key. And I've been on maybe a half a dozen of these calls with coaches. Now, one of them offers that to to these student recruits. Okay. What you get is, hey, look at my jersey, look at my dressing room, my stadium is beautiful. Maybe I've won a championship. Hurrah, hurrah. Hopefully you come to my school. Okay. So the academic side, you need to get hooked up with somebody in that area. Okay. You're not going to take a toothache to the brain surgeon, right? Go to the dentist. Ask questions. Be prepared. Ask questions. I love it when kids ask questions. Oh, they did research and they want to know more. Number two, the one thing I love even more about it is you're taking control of the relationship. I love it. Coach, that's fine. I love that. But I want to stop you right there. Let's talk about this. Tell me about that. I saw something about this. Oh, we love it. When we can have an independent, strong, independent person take control of the relationship, it's beautiful. And how do you do it? Research. So you're confident about the school and the coach and the team. Network. Reach out to them first, because if you reach out to them first, you have control. They then have to get back to you. And ask questions. Ask questions. I want to know. That's how you take control. And I always say this because I don't like it when kids sort of get led by the way by the coach, and sometimes they get too dressed up in the colors of the school, or a $2,700 scholarship, 1 year scholarship, right? The shiny object, as we like to say. Take control. I personally love it. The resume, yeah. We spoke about this. Put as much as possible. The more we know, the better. Um, I ask my players 3 questions at the end of every initial phone call. Dogs or cats, chocolate or vanilla, day or night, right? And it seems foolish. But really, when you collect a larger sample size, you start to see that you have like-minded people in your group, right? And then you start to target those like-minded people. So your resume is very important, because there might be certain things that you would leave out, you may think are not important, but at the end of the day, it might be the one thing that gets you through the door. Okay? I know this is going to be silly, and I'm putting it in the simplest form. But if I have 20 kids and 18 of them are chocolate, dog, and night, I'm probably not even going to look at the other two, right? That's an extreme example. But put down everything, everything. The more I know, the better, because I get to know you as a person. And the more you give to me, the more you have the right to ask for in return. And that's how relationships grow. So remember that. The more you give to me, the more I'm going to want to give to you. It's the law of reciprocation. Okay? That'll go through your whole life. You'll see. So research, network, questions, and resume. Some pitfalls. Some of the common cliche things that we see happening, right? Kids delay. This is the biggest one. Oh boy, oh boy. Right? I'm massive on accountability. If I tell one of our kids that I'm gonna call you in the middle of March, March 14th, I'm calling you. But I'm also gonna expect the same in return. So please, whether you're interested or you're not, email. If I'm emailing you and you're not interested in my school, please tell me. Okay? It's a respect thing. Coach Dave will second this. The soccer community, the older you get, the smaller it gets. And look, I coach League One soccer. So if I'm going to reach out to you and you ghost me, eventually our paths are going to cross, whether it be at the university level or in League One. At that point there, you want to have an extra friend. So it goes back to networking. Another cool thing about this, If you decide to go to another school and then you make a wrong decision, things didn't work out. And now that other school that you ghosted seems attractive, maybe the opportunity is no longer there. So if you don't like my school, but you email me, say, Coach, thank you very much for the offer, but I'm not interested. I'm going to the States. You do that and then decide you want to come back to Canada, maybe come to Lakehead. I'm going to turn and say, sure, respectable person, bring them on in. But if you ghost me, you're never going to want to, you'll be embarrassed. You'll be embarrassed, right? Loss of opportunity. I just said, take ownership. Number one killer, if a school emails you, I'm going to say 7 out of 10 times it's mom and dad's email. It's their address that we're emailing because that's what's in the database or whatever. We don't set appointments with mom and dad, right? You know that. So let's not have mom and dad reply to the emails on behalf of you, right? Make sure you go tell your parents after. If you ever get these emails, send them to me. We'll deal with it then. If I have a parent, well, I want to know more. Can you call me back? No, because I'm not interested in the parent. Okay. Do I want the parents engaged? 150% after the initial step. Because if you don't have enough to step out of independence to get out to me individually and follow up as an individual, then there's no point in the relationship. So I'm going to send an email. It's going to go to your mom's address. It's going to say, dear Samantha, we want you to come play. If mom is replying to that email, it's a no-go. Okay, so be careful. Go tell your parents because these things start happening. Okay. I want the parents involved because I want parents to get to know me just as good as the kid does. I'm a father. I have a daughter too. I got a boy and a girl, but I have a daughter. So when I lay my head down at night and my daughter's away on scholarship somewhere, I want to be able to close my eyes and have a good understanding of the school, of the people she's with, not the individuals, but the type, the atmosphere, how she's being cared for. Do I like the guy? Because ultimately, parents are not making the decision, but they need to be there as sounding boards. Kids, you really need to have your parents in on this because there's going to come a point in time where you're going to have to make a decision. And if your parents weren't there and they don't have the information, it's going to be tough. I know your parents aren't going to want to jump in front of you and take control, but they're going to want to be there to help you. So I encourage you to have them in on these phone conversations. Okay, don't have them ask questions and all those things, but have them be there because they got to get to know me too. Okay? I look at it from a father's point of view. Lastly, question. The question, okay? If you go in and it happens so much, coach, it happens a lot. In the first sentence, thank you very much for reaching out to me. I'd like to get to know more about your athletic scholarships. Excuse me? You want to know what? Think of it that way, right? Like, think about that. It's a little bit forward. Okay. I would wait as long as possible before you ask that question because you want to see at what point the coach divulges that information. Because now, are they looking at me as a person, as a student, as an athlete, right? If I come at you and say, hey, Linda, guess what? I like you. I'll give you $2,500 to come to my school. I'm looking at you as an athlete. Okay. So, especially in these initial emails, if you start talking scholarships in an email, oh no. Can you ask the question when you're on the phone or on Zoom? 100%. 100%. But for me, ladies and gentlemen out there, if I see the word scholarship in an initial reply email, it's the kiss of death. Okay? Because again, I'm looking at you as an individual, and now I have to start to question your motives. Okay? Are you going to go to the school just because they're going to give you a treat, right? I don't know. So please, In the initial, yes. Lastly, I would stay away from the word scholarship. Why not use financial support? Think of the two, they're exactly the same thing. But as a person who's looking at you as a person, as an individual, and not an athlete, when you say financial support, ooh, that gets you further down the line. Right? Financial support, coach, maybe you can back me up. Financial support seems like that there's a need or a gap that we can help fix. Where the word scholarship is like, what are you going to give me? It's a greed thing. It's more of a want as opposed to a need. So just changing terminology can get you much further down the line. Okay. So if you want to talk scholarships, phrase it as what type of financial support is available for somebody like me. I understand when you say like me. Okay, I get it. You want to talk athletic scholarship, okay. But phrase it like that. Any questions, coach, yet?
No, finish it up, and I'm sure the kids will have some questions then.
Okay, so I got about another 10 minutes to go. This is
Sure.
our school. Okay, now I'm going to get into our school. So right off the hop, this is it. That's it. So if you want to go to a big school, I'm already off your list. Scratch me off. If you want to leave, you can leave. But think of this: cottage country, green grass, blue skies, fresh air, no distractions, no planes, trains, automobiles, none of that stuff. Waterfront right off Lake Simcoe. Okay. Athletic facility, 4 fields, 2 turf and grass. Look at residence, kids. Residence is footsteps away from your classroom. That takes away the whole transportation thing. Cafeteria, bookstores in the middle. Look at the size of the school. Those are small classrooms, kids. You're not going to be in lecture halls of 2, 3, 4, 500 people. Okay. Small community, cottage country, about an hour out of the GTA. And it is what you see. Really, really quiet, nice place, fresh air. This will give you an idea a little bit about the town and what goes on around and campus life. It's a 2-minute, 1-minute video if we can get going. There is things to do, though, kids. Don't get me wrong. Like you have your inner city there, right? But look here. Oh, that might not work, eh? So right off the hop, I can tell you, you can tell it's a lifestyle type university, right? You really got to enjoy the community, the surrounding, amenities and resources. If you're not looking for small school, like I said, you've seen our classroom sizes are extremely small. We have about 1,500 kids on this campus, a little bit less. Everyone knows each other. It's a really small, close-knit community. You can tell even from Frosh Week how we sort of, set the stage for that. So it really, if you're looking for that small campus, convenience of residents being right there, we might be the school for you, right? Um, but yeah, that's really our community. Okay. Now, the best way I can say it is for those that know or don't know, if there was an Ivy League of schools in Canada like there's in the States, we would be one of those schools. We are an academic school. If you choose Lakehead, it's because you like the campus and the area, the small town, and the academics comes before the soccer because those are better, really. They're better. I'll be honest with you. And I don't care to say it because it's a great soccer program, but the quality of education is outstanding. We are one of Canada's top 10 universities, primarily in undergraduate bachelor's degrees, which means your first 4 years. We are a top 10 university in this nation. Okay. We're number one in the nation when it comes to undergraduate research. And what that means is in your third and fourth year, we put students in research opportunities where most universities will get you in these opportunities in grad school. We've actually had fourth year students be published through their research papers. So even before you go off to grad school, you're already being published, a published author. Okay. We're number one in Canada when it comes to that. You saw that 90% of our classes, you have less than 60 students. In fact, you were looking at classrooms that had somewhere up to 25, 20. Okay. Very small classroom sizes, especially as you move through into year 2, 3, and 4, and you really specialize in your own faculty. So if you like that relationship with the teacher where they know your name and they're able to help you an extra 5 minutes or clarify or get to know you as a person so they know your learning styles, this is the place for you. Others, you like to hide in a bigger lecture hall where the teacher doesn't even know who you are, Adam from Eve or whatnot. But here, you're going to build relationships with your classmates. Can you get, you miss school one day, can you get those notes for me? Or Mr. and Mrs. Smith, can you please wait after? I need 5 minutes of your time. Okay, they know your name. It's invaluable. Diverse, many students from many different parts of the world. We also offer one-of-a-kind programs. And frankly, to be one of Canada's top 10 universities and number one in undergraduate, you have to have the close relationships with your professors, and you have to have the resources and the out-of-box way of educating kids, get them out in the field, get them doing research, get them doing practical, and get them discovering on their own. Okay. A lot of really good courses that maybe some other schools don't offer. Okay. So definitely a top school in Canada. A nice statistic is 96.7% of our kids are actually employed in their field of choice within 2 years of graduation. So there's an end game, right? The end game for you is a career, a happy life. For mom and dad, it's a return on investment. But at the end of the day, you have an almost 97% chance of getting a job in your field. Our degrees are highly reputable, very well respected in the private sector. Okay. For those that are in business, you see, this is the level of education you're going to receive at our school. We're a top 5% in the world among business schools. Little old Lakehead out in Aurelia is a top 5%, and there's over 15,000 business schools. So we are a top 5% business school in the world. So those of you out there that might want to get into the field of business, it's an hour away from your house. And this one here is the finale. You save the best for last. April 2020, this survey was released. Lakehead was, I guess, the results were in and we were voted or we were seen, but top 100 university in the world. This was taken from 85 countries, 750 universities, and we finished 98th. Yep, little old Lakehead. Coach Dave didn't even know we existed. And I'm just poking fun because it's true. Nobody knew Lakehead existed. I didn't even know Lakehead existed until I seen the job opening. I'm being honest. But you're going to have world-class education across all of our faculties at your fingertips, an hour away from your home. What makes us different? Well, yes, the faculty, the teachers, the students, alumni, for sure. But best way to put it is if you come to my school, you're going to get an education that is about how to think, not what to think. We're not cookie cutter. This is not the only way to do things. We appreciate the fact that Jennifer sitting in front of us might be the person that looks at the problem differently. Maybe by doing that, she comes up with another solution that innovates and changes the way we look at things. So it's a lot of out of the box. It's what do you think? How do you want to solve this problem? Of course, if you go too far left, we're going to bring you back. It's those critical thinking skills. It's the how to think. That's what's going to make you successful when times change. Because when times change, the problems change. And if it's about what to think, you're obsolete. So at our school, it's all about how to think. Okay. A little bit about our football program. There's most of the girls, coaches, good guys. For goalkeepers out there, what's unique about us is Coach Ian. He's a goalkeeper coach. He's was my very first hire. We're given budgets. Go hire. Go do what you got to do. I went to go get a goalkeeper coach. I'm a goalkeeper background. I value the importance of that skilled position. We do not share our goalkeeper coach with the men's team. He's ours. Every game, every session, every meeting, he becomes the goalkeeper's best friend. In fact, my background is in goalkeeping. You got two sets of eyes. So me and Ian collaborate quite a lot. But that's unique. That's the way we think. That's the way I think. It'll give you an insight on how I think. The detail. Coach Silvo here is actually a coach at my soccer academy. He's been with me 10 years. I knew he was going to say yes to the position. That's why I went after my goalie coach first. Okay. So we're very detailed as a coaching staff. Session plans, themes, objectives. We don't run laps at the end because we got an extra 5 minutes. In fact, if I try and get you extra 5 minutes to go home, because I know as a university student, that 5 minutes could be the difference between you eating or not, right? So very quick, fast pace, intense, good flow to the sessions. The organization is there. Because by doing those things, maybe a 90-minute session really becomes 75 quality, right? And there's your 10 minutes so you can go eat dinner and study, okay? I came into the program and we had a roster a little bit bigger than this, and I actually cut it down to 8 players my first year because my philosophies are I'd rather go to war with 8 lions than 20 lambs. And so we had to actually get rid of our soccer program, our outdoor. But by doing that, we started to get results because now I went to war with footballers, not kids that just came in and play soccer. No, we got soccer players now. My second year, we actually dropped to 7 players because, again, if the standard's not there, right, and the recruiting has to kick in, but then the results come and we start winning league championships, to be honest with you. Yeah, you got 6, 7 players. And when you can keep your best Lions on the field the whole game, you're going to do okay. So we started recruiting more. The quality started getting better. So we went from local and district to regional, OPDL, provincial, OWSL. Now we're bringing in League One girls. I don't know if many of you follow us on Instagrams and those things, but So the quality is going up now and the numbers are going up because obviously the target is to go outdoor. Now, hopefully, fingers crossed, we get the go ahead in September. Fingers crossed, because we're there. So that's the team. And we grew. We are the it thing on campus. So for those boys that want to come to the school, oh well, the girls are actually the showpiece. They are. Um, just the way we started. I mean, we stripped it all down and we got back up and we started to win, and people were hopping on buses to come watch us win games, and the morale started going around us. And then we, front page of the newspaper in Aurelia, and we had an OCAA athlete of the month, and Chantel was the varsity women's athlete of the year, right? So all of these things started to really bring visibility to our program and really separated us from everybody else. So we are the it thing. And part of my goals when I was getting there was, I want to make Lakehead Aurelia a women's soccer school. And we're there. We're there. No other varsity program recruits the way we do, just the effort that we put behind our players. So, yeah, but that's a little bit about us, okay? And we'll talk more for those in the future if you need be. So, at the end of this, hopefully I was able to, give you a pretty good education on, what we look for as coaches and what's out there and what your options are. And maybe I gave you a little bit or enough of an insight on Lakehead University and our soccer program that, maybe you now want to take the initiative and take the relationship to the next level. Okay. And what I mean by that is, if anything or all of this sounded half decent to you, I invite you to use the email at the bottom of the screen. Send me an email. Don't worry about the first impressions because we're done with that now. Just say, hey, coach, I was on that Zoom meeting with you. I'd like to know more. Can we talk? Okay. At that point there, we'll have a phone conversation. And if things are looking good and we've lined up in a good little spot, I'll get you in touch with an academic recruitment officer, Tori, and she's going to go down the fine tooth with a fine tooth comb, the academic side. Okay. At that point there, we will talk again to see if you're still interested in Lakehead. And if you are, we will then continue the relationship. We'll come watch a couple of games. Maybe Coach Dave will invite me out to watch you all train one day. And, we'll continue building relationships because that's what it's all about. Okay. Ultimately, I'm not the type of guy that is going to put a contract, a letter of intent in front of you and say, sign here, sign now, or it's gone. The way I build the relationships, it's over a year. It's over a comfort level. It's about you as a person. It's about you really making a decision with all the information necessary. Okay. So I look for no's, right? Once we have a whole bunch of prospects, I don't ask for a yes. I look for a no. And I was telling Coach Dave this at the beginning. If we let it happen organically and we let it happen naturally, what happens, somebody calls me in January, says, I'm excited. I'm coming to your school. I can't wait to play soccer. I'm like, hey, great. Congratulations. Here's a letter of intent. So that person chose to come to my school because that's what they wanted to do, because it's what's best for them. That's how I work. Okay. So if you want to know more about the school, about me, about the program, let's get together individually and we can sit aside because right now I don't want to eat into anybody else's time. Okay. We good? All right. That's it for me, Coach.
Coach Dave, you're muted.